Good evening, Harlem, the Heights, and beyond. This is Harlem 411. You're listening to 90.3 FM on your radio dial, emanating from the campus of City College. My name is Hodger Worley, and this is What's in the News. From the UN radio for, I think it's October 24th, UN radio. Violence halts UNHCR operation in Lebanon. The recent spate of insecurity and growing tensions in Lebanon have forced the UN Refugee Agency to temporarily halt the registration of Syrian refugees in the country. Lebanese cities affected by the suspension include the capital, Beirut, Tripoli, Akkar, and Saida on the south. UNHCR says the number of Syrian refugees in Lebanon has now reached over 101,000, with more than 5,500 registered last week. Melissa Fleming of the UNHCR says the organization is assessing the security situation and hopes to resume all operations as soon as conditions allow. This according to Ms. Fleming, quote, "For the time being, we have no plans to change how we operate inside Lebanon. There has just been this temporary halt of registration that we hope will resume very soon. What the refugees tell us in Lebanon, none of them are living in refugee camps. They are living in the local communities, and they are struggling to make ends meet. Because they do live on the open economy, and they complain of high prices. It is 4 weeks since we launched the Syria Regional Response Plan, and we are only about 1/3 funded." So that report from UN Radio, and I should add to that, not only are there Syrian refugees in Lebanon, but I believe there are also refugees in Turkey as well. So this thing in Syria doesn't seem to be coming to an end anytime soon. Meanwhile, the West is kind of like standing by, and the UN is also standing by. So it's a much different situation than what we saw in Libya. Moving on, also from United Nations Radio, Stevie Wonder excited to work through UN to help heal the world. Legendary American musician Stevie Wonder says he is excited to work through the United Nations to help heal the world. The Grammy Award-winning songwriter performed at a UN Day concert on Wednesday evening. Stevie Wonder, who is known for his activities in the United States and in the campaign against apartheid, is a United Nations messenger of peace, with a focus on persons with disabilities. "I haven't even touched," according to Stevie Wonder, quote, "I haven't even touched one iota of what I want to do for and through the United Nations to help heal the world and to help this world and the people on this planet heal themselves. I am so excited to do. It's equal to my excitement that I feel when I come up with another melody or another lyric or in another different chord. It's joyful." Stevie Wonder says that people must always remember they have more similarities than differences. And that from UN Radio. Moving on to the headlines from Democracy Now! For the 22nd, U.S. Iran deny reports of nuclear talks. Both the United States and Iran are denying any claims of having reached an agreement in principle for direct one-on-one nuclear talks. The New York Times reported Saturday that a deal has been struck between U.S. diplomats and top Iranian officials, reporting to the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Iran is said to have asked about the talks that Iran is said to have asked that the talks be delayed until after the upcoming November elections so they could know with whom they would be sitting down. But in a statement, the White House said, quote, "It is not true that the United States and Iran have agreed to one-on-one talks or any meeting after the American elections," unquote. Speaking to journalists, Iranian Foreign Minister Ali Akbar Saleh also denied the report. According to Foreign Minister Ali Akbar Saleh, quote, we don't have anything like discussions or negotiations with America. Yes, we have negotiations with the P51 group of nations. If it is about nuclear talks, the talks are going to be with the P51 plus group, the P5 plus 1 group of nations. We have no discussions with the United States. The news comes as Iran grapples with a plunging currency and growing internal hardship in the face of crippling international sanctions. More broadly, Iran has proposed the establishment of a nuclear-free Middle East, but that call has gone all but ignored. Clashes erupt in Lebanon following the slaying of intelligence official. Unrest has broken out in Lebanon following the assassination of a top intelligence official in a car bombing. The killing of Brigadier General Wassim al-Hassan prompted calls of Syrian government involvement, leading to protests at the end of Hassan's funeral on Sunday. Militants traded fire in areas of southern Beirut hours after mourners tried to storm government offices. Israeli Navy seizes ship off Gaza-bound activists. The Israeli Navy has seized a ship of Palestinian solidarity activists seeking to break the U.S.-backed siege of the Gaza Strip. The Estelle was the latest boat attempting to reach Gaza as part of the Freedom Flotilla coalition. On Saturday, Israeli Navy vessels surrounded the ship and deployed forces on board to seize the passengers, taking them to a prison inside Israel. The passengers and crew were nationals from Canada, Israel, Norway, Sweden, and the United States. Hours before the Israeli raid, ship organizer Matthias Gardel spoke to Democracy Now! Aboard the Estelle. According to Matthias Gardel, quote, "We are not breaking any laws. We are not the provocateurs. It is Israel that clearly violates international public law and decent human standards." Let us see. Okay, and decent human standards. They are provoking the world, and by doing so, by inviting the world to witness this crime against humanity, they are also presenting each and every one of us with a choice. Either you choose to be part of the problem or you choose to be part of the solution. A lawyer for the detained passengers has accused Israel of using taser weapons during the raid on the ship, saying Israeli forces committed electro-torture. Israel has denied the claim. Moving on, Hamas boycotts Pakistani municipal elections. Let's see here.
So, Haja, we're ready to go into the next segment?
Okay, well, we're ready to go. All right, well, I have to say this because you can't rush me with my news. You can't rush me with my news. Now, we have from the Amsterdam News, the Justice Quest, the Central Park 5 seeks reparations. That's the Central Park case is still ongoing, and I have more to say about that later. Obama wins round 3, according to the Amsterdam News. City Council hears public testimony about police actions. Daily Challenge, efforts intensify to misinform voters 2 weeks before what could be one of the closest presidential elections in U.S. history. Efforts to mislead, intimidate, or pressure voters are an increasingly prominent part of the political landscape. Analysts say tactics typically seen in the last days before the elections are already in play. From the final call, political lies cannot save America, warns Minister Farrakhan. And also an article by Minister Louis Farrakhan on page 20. The poor have no choice, have no voice. I'm sorry, the poor have no voice. From the New York Beacon for this week, Obama rounts. Romney supports many of Obama's foreign policy positions. In the heat of debate, candidates point accusing fingers at each other. President Obama and Mitt Romney engaged in one of those accusatory arguments. Okay, let's see. And one last item here from the Covert Chronicles. Do not complain if you do not vote. I hear that. You hear that, Kazai?
Yes.
Do not complain if you do not vote. So that's about all we have time for this week from what's in the news. As always, learn to listen to learn, connect the dots, stay informed, and we'll be right back.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
All right, Harlem and beyond Harlem, those of you that are listening with us on this Friday evening, pre-storm warning going out. The storm is supposed to hit around this area maybe late Sunday, early Monday, and so we want you all to be safe. And we have a PSA on that. But right now, we are going to be speaking with Sherry Hunkela, and she is the vice presidential candidate for the Green Party. And I was able to catch an interview she did on what was it, on Al Jazeera, and she is one of the only candidates in the running who, even though they've been shut out, who really said anything about poverty. So we're happy to have Ms. Hunkela with us. Are you there, Ms. Hunkela?
Yes, I'm happy to be here tonight.
Well, we're happy to have you. First things first, you and Jill Stein were arrested recently at Hofstra. What was that all about?
Well, we figured since we're on 38 ballots and 85% of the population is eligible to vote for us, and, we worked like hell in each of the states to get ourselves on the ballot, that the American people should be able to decide who they want for president and vice president. So we walked onto the campus and asked to talk to the Commission on Presidential Debates, and we were instead denied, surrounded by the police, and then taken to a room and photographed, and then taken to a secret warehouse about 10 miles away, and handcuffed with both of our hands to metal chairs for over 8 hours.
Over 8 hours?
That's correct. So, we were kind of blown away. We thought, if people have a base of over 3.2 million people in this country, perhaps this wouldn't happen.
Well, sure.
But but it just shows you, democracy is not really alive in our country, and
right.
Definitely African American males across this country understand that, police brutality is alive and well.
What Let's see. What kept the explain to the audience what kept the Green Party out of the debate, please?
Well, the key thing is that the Democrats and the Republicans get to decide who's a part of the debates, and then the debates are sponsored by 10 corporations. So basically, it comes down to, Democrats and Republicans and corporate America, because, again, the debates are funded by corporate America.
Okay. Now, what is this commission on the presidential debates? What's that?
That is a group that has taken the debates away from the League of Women Voters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's things like, U.S. Airways and other corporations. We knew that at least 3 of the sponsored had agreed to pull out and no longer financially support the commission. And we were hoping for a 4th, but all of that is a result of 4 national organizations across the country
right.
that have been formed and putting pressure because, people are tired of not having a democracy in this country, not hearing from other people, not talking about other issues. And when you're a part of the debates, both Democrats and Republicans agree about, what questions they aren't going to ask each other. Mm-hmm. And so most people don't know that a lot of that is scripted.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it's corporations, and they're really in there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, it's a really sad thing. Money determines, just about everything nowadays.
Sure. In your opinion, will we ever get away from that kind of situation, that kind of setup where money controls everything? Will we ever have a really populist or popular campaign, popular vote, popular parties? Your thought on that?
I definitely have hope.
Mm-hmm.
I've been traveling around the entire country, was in about 17 states in the last couple of weeks, and it's really like a sleeping giant. So whether it's folks in Philly or West Virginia or you name it, people are tired of what they see, and I really think that it's just a matter of time with programs like yours and other programs. People are finally getting educated and coming to the realization that it's not just enough to build a social movement in this country, that if we're serious about political power, then we've got to come up with a way that we can build this independent political motion and separate from corporate America.
Okay. How many states have you campaigned in?
Oh, I can't even count them anymore. Pretty much this is just an extension of the work that I've been doing for 25 years. And, from, Alabama to, everywhere.
Sure.
I've been all over this country.
Right.
And I think that there's a great deal of hope, and I'm reminded of that because, in our discussions with the European Greens, they remind me that it's only with a social movement linked with independent political party can we really create something, and that's how the Greens were established in Europe. And they had a beginning, they had a start, they were told that they weren't going to be able to do it. And I was really excited to be a part of the ticket with Dr. Jill Stein, because she's a graduate of Harvard, and I'm a graduate of the School of Hard Knocks.
I got you.
And,
okay.
And so that was kind of like a good combination. And, I've been making every effort to bring in all of my other brothers and sisters across the country from the School of Hard Knocks into the Green Party so that it becomes a party that's not just about environmental justice issues, although those are incredibly important to all of us, but things like mass incarceration, police brutality, the school to prison pipeline, health care, housing foreclosure issues, that these things become just as important to talk about. And we certainly didn't hear them from Mitt Romney or President Obama.
Right. Now, tell us a little bit about your background. I read your bio. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it with me, but you have done a lot in Kensington and now this organization that you're heading up. Tell us a little bit about that, your background.
Well, I'm the first formerly homeless single mother running for one of the highest offices in this country, and I almost froze to death many years ago with my 9-year-old son in the Twin Cities. And that led me to come to understand that if that can happen to me, it must be happening to thousands of other people. Mm-hmm. So for about 25 years, I've been teaching people how to set up tent cities, homeless encampments, have been working with folks to organize some of the largest poor people's marches. And basically everything that we've done, we've learned from, well, at least I have learned from women in the civil rights movement that were active in the welfare rights movement, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King and the Poor People's March. Mm-hmm. So I've been organizing with the Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign to try and take up where he left off in building a multiracial, intergenerational movement led by, the poor in this country. And that's very big numbers these days, since half of America is poor.
Right. I was recently doing some research, and I won't say these are facts because they fluctuate, but it's something I was reading. According to what I read, it was something like 42 million people living in poverty.
Yeah.
And something like, in another report I read, something like 52 or 50 million at the brink of poverty. And a large percentage of that is our children. Your thoughts on the economy?
Well, I'm absolutely devastated by it, not just, politically, but personally. I have 2 young nieces that I joined yesterday in front of the Cruz house. That's a home that's in foreclosure that we're fighting to save in the Twin Cities. But my nieces were there, and Ruby is about 5 years old, and Shawnee's about 7 years old. And they had grown up in their house and didn't know any other home but the home that they had been living in their whole life. Mm-hmm. And, my sister and brother-in-law lost their homes to this foreclosure crisis. Mm. And they're part of, the 8 million people that were robbed by the banks and lost their homes. And nobody is going to jail for it. And, they're out of their homes. Mm-hmm. And the post-traumatic stress disorder, I think, that develops in families is just, you can't put a price on it. My, sister and brother-in-law didn't survive the stress of losing the home. Now are, in the process of getting divorced. The little kids are having a hard time in school. And so there's a lot more that happens to a family when they lose their home. Sure. It's not just they lose their home. Similar to, other difficult situations. Right. It's not just about losing their home. It's they've lost their family as well.
Mm-hmm. We're at at the last report, I believe we're at $16 trillion and counting in terms of debt. What is that doing to us? Do you have any suggestions about recovery from such a debt? How did we get here?
We come from this whole debt question from a different perspective, which is we don't think we have to join the guys by saying we have to tighten our belt, and that there's
austerity,
not
in
enough
other words,
to go around.
Mm-hmm.
We think that there's plenty to go around. They just mean not for us. And if we just took our troops home from the bases that we're occupying in different parts of the world, we would have enough money to, rebuild our schools, to engage in organic farming, to turn our unemployment centers into employment centers, and still have some change at the end of the day. So this idea that out of necessity we have to cut is not the answer. We can begin to tax the polluters. We can tax Wall Street, tax the rich, and bring the military home. And in the same time, we can save our planet and create a better future for our children and the next generation.
What is the Green Party's platform?
Well, basically, our platform is one of social and economic and cultural justice, that we believe that everybody should have a right to food, clothing, and housing and health care, and that we need to stop climate change and end the oil wars and restore our freedoms and constitutional rights. And we think that, all people that live in this country, including undocumented immigrants, should have a right to all of those things as well. And we know that under the Obama administration, that the Obama administration has deported more immigrants than any other president in history, and that, immigrants are dying because they don't have, undocumented immigrants are dying because they don't have access to health care in this country.
Right.
And we think that there's something really wrong with that.
Sure.
There was a 14-year-old kid in Kansas about a year ago who needed a heart transplant and couldn't get it because he was undocumented, because he couldn't show that he'd have ongoing health care. And so our government just let this 14-year-old black boy named Eduardo die. And we just have to stand up and, vote courage on Election Day and say, enough is enough. We're not going to vote for any more corporate-controlled political parties in this country. We're going to start something new. And I think that begins on Election Day by voting green.
Sure. I saw a couple of articles about you and Jill Stein, Dr. Jill Stein. One was in The Nation, and I think you made a comment that you can't spoil what's already rotten, something to that effect. And also in the Nation of Islam's news organ, the Final Call, there's an article on page 4 mobilizing the dissatisfied. Green Party candidate Jill Stein wants to be president, and here's why she's running. Why are you the vice presidential candidate? Why are you running, Ms. Honkler?
I am running because everybody that I know and love is not surviving Democrats and Republicans, and probably will not make it in the years to come. The people that I love and I know now are in the process of losing their homes. Most of the people I know don't have health care. Most of the people I know are a paycheck or two away from homelessness. And I'm running because I've been working in the anti-poverty movement for 25 years, and it was time for me to step forward and, put myself on the line to say that I'm ready to, run around the country and try and raise consciousness around the need to break with the Democrats. Right. Because we've got to stop talking about who's got the worst seat on the Titanic and figure out how to get off.
Now, where are you right now? Where are you at this moment?
I'm on my way right now to North Minneapolis to speak at the Capri Theater. I'm really excited because all my nieces and nephews and my brother-in-law, even this is an important day to him because he's Muslim, but he's coming and bringing the kids, and we're going to have a big speaking event tonight. We're hoping for about 600 people, and then I leave from here. I believe early Sunday morning to go to Detroit, and we'll hook up with some auto workers and some folks that have had their water shut off, and some folks from Welfare Rights.
Now,
so yeah, go ahead.
Is the Bainport, that tent city that's been set up? Have you been there? Is that in Michigan or? Bainport?
Well, there's
Sensata, the Sensata company.
I don't know. I mean, I've been visiting different tent cities and foreclosure defenses in different parts of the country. When I first arrived here, I participated in a foreclosure fight, Occupy Homes, as soon as I arrived here. I've kind of been visiting everywhere that there's a struggle that's going on.
You know, I think I saw in The Nation mention that you were in Kentucky, and Kentucky, I just had a piece on the 10 states where the highest levels of child poverty are, and Kentucky is right up there. The District of Columbia is the third, and I was surprised to see that. But and
I was there too.
Yeah, okay. Now, one of the things that I've been thinking about as a lay person, I just wondered why either presidential candidate had not really come out really strongly about the issue of poverty. I also wondered why there hadn't been a tour similar to the one that Robert Kennedy took, years ago throughout Appalachia. And your comments.
Yeah, I mean, we were shocked too, and I think that that's part of the reason that the Green Party chose me as the vice presidential candidate, because that word comes out of my mouth, dozens of times every single day. And they know that I live on Mutter Street. It's known to other people as the Badlands in North Philadelphia. And so, other major issues too, like mass incarceration.
Right.
1 in every 15 African-American males are in prison, and we have more people in prison here in this country than any place else in the world. And we really need to be talking about 45,000 people every year dying because they don't have access to health care. And, these are the most important issues.
Right.
Not, Big Bird and whether or not Obama held a press conference, after the killing at the embassy. So, they'll do everything they possibly can to not talk about the real issues because they can't really answer the questions because they're not free.
Mm-hmm.
They have to answer to their corporate sponsor.
Their backers.
Yeah, their backers. So they're not free to, live out their, programs.
Sure.
So this is, and then people like to spin it and try to make it be, use the history of racism in this country to attack Obama as an individual man,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to look at the fact that this is not about Obama as the individual man. This is about two political parties that are bought and, totally bought by corporate America.
Okay. Now, do you have any more time? Because I know you're pressed. You're on your way to an engagement.
My handler right now is giving me the red flag because I already told him I'd be off in a few minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, one last thing: education, and then we will end the conversation.
Well, first of all, Jill and I are calling for free education for everyone from preschool until college. And we need to an equal playing field
mm-hmm.
where all kids should have the same kind of quality education, whether they're in rural, suburban, or urban areas. We need to make sure that we don't allow our schools to be privatized, and we stand with all the various different teachers that work hard each and every day to teach our students across this country and respect the struggles that they're in right now. And then for young people that are in college today, we intend to forgive the student debt because all of our young people are graduating from college and then spending the rest of their life in debt because they owe money for student loans.
Sure. Well, it's been a pleasure to speak with you, and much success for the future. I know you're going to continue this work, and I know that we'll probably be hearing more from you even after the elections. So I want to thank you, and you take the best of care. And is there anything you want to leave our audience with before you go?
I'm just asking folks that we have a lot at stake, and we can't wait any longer. If we want to save the planet and fight to save a future for the next generation, let's not wait anymore. Let's vote courage on Election Day. Vote green. And I just want to really thank you for this program, because without programs like yours, we're not going to reach the masses of people.
Well,
have a great night.
That's one of the reasons why we're here, and thank you so much. Travel safe. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too. There you have it, Harlem. We just spoke with Sherry Hunkela, who is the vice presidential candidate for the Green Party. And, it's getting time to cast our ballots and everything. And, whoever you vote for, please get out there and vote, because there's something called voter suppression, and there's efforts, it says in the Daily Challenge from yesterday, to intensify to misinform voters, to tell you need ID when you don't need ID, and just a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. So whoever you vote for, there's been too many lives have been sacrificed. Too much has been in the balance for us to be to laid back, to be lackadaisical about this upcoming election. We're going to take a break, and I will be back with some announcements and some conversation with our very own Keziah Glow.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
are back, and we're back on the air. And I'm going to do a couple of announcements, and then I said we're going to engage because in a little conversation. First announcement is an exploration of community through the arts. We are working, my wife and I are working with some students through our organization, Project Harmony, 2 students from CUNY. And they have written a public service announcement calling all those who know the Joseph Daniel Wilson Garden on 122nd Street. If you pass through the garden, you know how special a place it is. We want to explore the significance of that place through making art together. We want to meet and collaborate with anyone who has a connection to that garden. We believe all people are creative beings, and we are interested in exploring that creativity through art and celebration. We want to learn and share this community's stories and to honor the many reasons why people come together. We will engage participants in activities and games that are rooted in the celebration. We operate with a participant-centered philosophy. By collaborating with each other, our participants will contribute to their own community building and strengthening. We hope to foster within the participants a deeper connection to one another and to this special place. If you are interested or just curious, please come out to the Halloween celebration as the Joseph Daniel Wilson Memorial Garden, located on 122nd Street between 7th and 8th Avenues, on Sunday, October 28th from 3 to 5 p.m. There will be games, candy, laughter, fun, marshmallows roasting, and more. And that is from the students that are working with us. And if you want to know more about this, you can call our number. That's 212-678 2878. That's 212-678 2878. I'm so wrong. 662. I'm so sorry. That's 212-662-2878. 662-2878. That's 212 area code. Also, we have the Central Park 5 court. I read the article on the front a little bit about the Central Park 5 and reparations on the front page of this week's Amsterdam News. On Monday at 2:30 p.m., October 29th, that's 2012, Judge Magistrate Ronald Ellis's courtroom 18D on the 18th floor of the U.S. Courthouse, the federal courthouse, on 500 Pearl Street. There's going to be a hearing around reparations, and that is regarding the Central Park 5. And I'm sure that many of you out there in the listening audience are familiar with that case from some time ago. In any case, these men were found innocent, and now they are fighting for reparations or fighting to be compensated for the time that they unjustly spent confined. So you come out to that at 2:30 Monday, October 29th. It's at courtroom 18D on the 18th floor of the U.S. Courthouse on 500 Pearl Street, and support the Central Park 5. That's in the courtroom of Judge Magistrate Ronald Ellis. One last thing here. The Black Solidarity Day program will take place on November the 4th. On November the 4th, and the Black Solidarity Black Solidarity Day will take place on Monday, the November 5th. According to this, it begins on Sunday. I'm sorry, it begins on November the 4th, and it continues to, and it will actually take place on the 5th. The celebration begins Sunday, November 4th, with the annual Pre-Black Solidarity Day rally and commemoration. It will be conducted at Boys and Girls High School in Brooklyn, New York, at 1700 Fulton Street, and that's Fulton Street and Utica Avenue. This event will be highlighted by awarding 3 citations, beginning with Dr. Carlos Russell, who initiated Black Solidarity Day for the first celebration in 1969. There will be a special award for Douglas Turner Ward, who is the author playwright of A Day of Absence and is the founder of the Negro Ensemble Company, and he founded that in 1967. This production laid the framework for the celebration. Also, there will be a special recognition of Solomon Goodrich, who recently retired as director of the Southeast Queens Park Association. Brother Goodrich also serves as chairperson of the Board for the Education of People of African Ancestry, also known as Clark House, and this is for John Henry Clark. This rally is taking place Sunday, November 4th, with the theme, Our Youth, Our Future, Our Destiny. And some of the speakers will be A.T. Mitchell, Sister Betty Dobson, Sister Erica Ford, and Ramatu Baba. And there will be outstanding leaders as well throughout New York City. Cultural presentations will be provided by the Bed-Stuy Capoeira, Angola Rites of Passage, and the All-American All-African Community Drummers. This celebration will take place from 3 to 7 p.m. Vendors are welcome. For further information, contact Michael Hooper. That's a 718-773-0246. That's 718-773-0246. Or you can call G2 Usi at 718-857-1427. That's 718-857-1427. And that's regarding the Black Solidarity Day celebration and the Black Solidarity celebration itself, all happening in the People's Republic of Brooklyn. Now, we get to the good part. We get to ask Keziah Glow, what did you do last week and how did you do it? And you better not say, I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, I'm going to answer what did I do last week. Well, one job that I have, I'm a landlord. So I was handling interviewing new people and doing interviews. I did some renovations. I rent apartments.
You did them or somebody else?
Of course somebody else did them. Listen, I oversaw them being done.
Oversteer.
Oh, no. Right. And what else did I do this week? Now I'm drawing a blank.
Okay.
Now I see how guests feel when you put them on the spot.
But it's good. At least you remember something. At least you didn't come with a total blank.
Oh, the total blank, right?
Right. So what do you think about the Central Park 5, 23 years later? You familiar with that case?
Mm-hmm.
You was a babe when that was.
No,
yeah.
I was 10.
Yeah, you were 10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that and them trying to get compensation for the time that they were unjustly incarcerated?
I feel they should, and I feel that most there are a lot of these cases that take place, and not just in this state, but in a lot of other states, and
across the nation.
Yeah, and I remember in Texas when George Bush was in office in Texas, they found when they started using DNA, there were a lot of people that were wrongfully charged. Yes, yeah. And I feel like if they actually looked into those cases, they would owe a lot of people a lot of money. So they probably won't. They try their best not to give these people money, but you take away somebody's life for 10, 20 years. Can repay you for that. And imagine what you've gone through for, and you were innocent. I mean, that didn't just start happening now. That just takes you back to, guys walking down the street, and you just get picked up just because you look a certain way or you're a certain color, and then all of a sudden you're gone. Yeah,
I was watching Democracy Now! Last night, and I think it's California. It's got the 3 strikes rule. 3 felonies or 3 convictions, and you're away for life without possibility of parole. And there was one case that they were talking about was this sister who she wrote a bad check. She did 13 years. 13 years for a bad check.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it wasn't, and it didn't go into the amount of stuff, but you can just, looking at the sister and, Susan's black, and you can just about figure that it wasn't no, buku money like that.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
Probably just enough to survive on,
it's just really interesting years. Because, and I'm by no means am I, saying that she should be writing bad checks or anyone should write bad checks.
No, I hear you.
Because that's not something that anybody should be doing. But it's just interesting because her bad check, there are people out here, full companies that are writing bad checks. And these people are doing these white collar crimes and they are getting away with it. They are getting away with stealing people's bank funds. And, you hear about that one guy who, got caught. What was his name? Madoff. But, I mean, that was a big old whatever. But there are a million people who do that every day. I mean, the banks are doing that.
Yeah.
So it's just incredible.
They're prosecuting
how things work.
They're prosecuting, is it Citibank? I don't want to misquote, but I had something here is where they're prosecuting one of the banks. I can't find that. But anyway, it's big. They're being prosecuted for big. Oh, here it is.
Good.
The Justice Department files $1 billion suit against Bank of America. That's it. Bank of America. Federal prosecutors in New York say have filed a $1 billion civil suit accusing the financial giant Bank of America of a massive fraud.
Right.
Bank of America.
Right.
Massive fraud. One sister with a bad check, 13 years. Now,
and
I wonder how many of these jokers are going to go to prison. I
wonder. And, I wonder how much money they make per year. And I wonder what lifestyle they're living. And while they're going through that whole thing, even if they are found guilty, they're not going to spend 13 years in jail. And they're not even going to spend it in the same type of jail or the same type of facility. So it's really disheartening.
And they were talking about, I think we were talking about earlier, or it was Miss Honkala was talking about her brother, I think, and sister-in-law having
the foreclosure.
And this is what this is about.
Right.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
The bank, right?
Yeah, while the Bank of America reaped the windfall, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were struck with huge losses and foreclosed properties.
Well,
the scheme
what?
is known as the hustle. And blah, 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 blah.
And it is that. But the thing is that this goes back to our young people and our old people too, because sometimes we get hungry, but we have to remember, we have to know that you can get 13 years for doing a crime like that, because she might have said, you know what, I'm going to make $500 or I'm going to make $200 or $40. But you have to understand where you stand.
There are consequences.
So if you understand those consequences, then you operate a little differently, and none of us are perfect people, perfect citizens, but we do need to know that some forces are gunning for our rights and our freedoms and our liberty. So when you just crossing that street, you got to look both ways, because you got to know. I want to let people know this is
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Stole your words. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was jumping to another piece. I was watching something not long ago, and it was about Africa, and I forget which countries. It might have been Kenya. And they were talking about the poverty, the level of poverty and stuff, and the lack of education there, and children not, having access to education. And one little girl walking for miles and miles just so she could get to school and stuff and stuff. But anyway, there was this one guy, and he cleaned toilets. So you can imagine there was an outhouse. He has to come around and dump this. So you can imagine,
right?
What kind of job that must be. And he said, in order to get his son an education, he said, I will carry this waste.
Yes, the feces.
He said, I will carry this
Right.
all I have to, but I will not steal. Now this is a poor man with next to nothing,
Right.
He said, I will carry this waste. So to my son,
But I won't
will
steal.
struggle, but I will not steal.
That says a lot.
That's a lot, exactly, And let's talk about the people, in Africa and poor people in general, they have, some of them have the highest standards, standards that are above these jokers living in the fancy palaces and, in the places that are high and mighty.
Well, we see it a lot because oftentimes, we've been in, our community has been in a recession for a very long time, before the recession hit. So we understand what this means and we know how to work around. But then you find some of these people, they end up committing suicide and they do all these things because they don't really know how to deal with this.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I don't know if that was...
No, that was appropriate.
That was appropriate.
You're right on time.
But
So what did you got coming up for the weekend?
The weekend? Well, I am going to Dominican Republic tomorrow.
Can I come?
I don't know if you want to come. Because if you know what, just on that note, I'm gonna just play this for everybody because this is quite funny. But we gonna play this. Hold on one second.
All right. This is an important message from Manhattan 10 South Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT team. In the event that Hurricane Sandy hits New York City, it is important to know if you live in a low-lying evacuation zone. Zone A faces the highest risk of flooding and includes areas near beaches in Far Rockaway, Queens, Staten Island, and Long Island. If you're listening to WHCR on your radio dial, most likely you live in Zone B or Zone C or no designated zone. If you live in Zone B, you may experience flooding from a Category 2 hurricane. If you live in Zone C, you may experience flooding from a major hurricane, Category 3 or 4. To find out which zone you live in, go to www.nyc.gov. and put Hurricane Guide in the search box. Then click on Ready New York Hurricane Guide. Click English and scroll to the map. You can determine which zone you live in by viewing the color-coded map. Zone A is orange, Zone B is yellow, Zone C is green. In case you have to evacuate your apartment, please have a go bag ready to take with you. You should put the following items in your go bag. 1, your passport and other forms of photo ID. 2, any medications that you take daily. 3, extra set of house keys and car keys. 4, a flashlight. 5, a bottle of water and non-perishable foods such as energy or granola bars. 6, your glasses if you wear them. 7, a battery-operated radio and extra batteries. 8, copies of your important documents in a waterproof and portable container. Example, insurance card, photo IDs, proof of address, etc. 9, credit and ATM cards and cash, especially in small denominations. We recommend you keep at least $50 to $100 on hand. 10, a first aid kit. 11, contact and meeting place information for your household and a small regional map. 12, child care supplies or other special care items. If you do not have to evacuate, stay in your apartment and take all loose furniture and items off your terrace if you have one. This is Haja Warrior, a member of Manhattan 10 South's Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT.
So, now...
So the storm is coming. You say they might get caught in the storm?
So I might get caught in the storm. I might not make it back in New York.
Oh.
No, but I might be stranded somewhere because I'm supposed to return on Tuesday, and the storm is supposed to hit on Sunday, Monday, and then go into Tuesday. And I think a lot of the airline might be slowed up. And so then also it was down there, so it's coming from down there. So we shall see. I really just want to go to a beach and just spend some time. So
well, enjoy yourself while you're there and be safe. Be safe.
So that's what I'm doing.
Don't let none of those caballeros run off with you.
Oh no, nobody's running off with me. Nobody's running. They better watch out. I'm from the Bronx, the South Bronx at that.
All right, I heard that.
What? I just don't want to end up doing 13 years. So I'm gonna be good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
no, but so that's what it is for this weekend, and I'm wondering, you know, what do you have going on this weekend?
Well, we got like bulbs, and I know it's the most boring thing in the world to people who don't garden and stuff, but we have like I don't know, 1,000 bulbs or whatever.
Really?
To plant, you know, daffodils, lilies, tulips and stuff. So we're going to be putting those into the garden. And Sunday we're doing the Halloween thing for the kids. Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
We do that every year.
So
so we're going to be doing that.
When you have a garden, you have to start this time of year. You start
for spring flowers like tulips and lilies and stuff like that. You plant them in the fall.
Oh wow!
So they can winter over, you know, because they like the winter, you know.
And then they shoot up in the
spring.
Nice, nice. Well,
so hopefully we'll have a beautiful array of flowers come March and April. You know, it'll really look good.
Well, we are going to take a short break, and you know, I like that PSA that you did. That was very nice. That
quickly, Tina Dixon.
Tina Dixon
is the doer. Boy,
big shout outs to Tina Dixon.
Big shout out to Tina. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will take a quick break, and we'll be right back. We'll see what we have for you guys.
Okay.
We won't tell you.
Keep a surprise.
Yeah, keep a surprise. Keep them guessing. All right, we'll be right back.
Lord, we live in a police state. Lord, we live in a police state. Lord, we live in a police state. We gotta fix this here police state. A good police is a hero every day. A good police worth 10 times their pay. They were good police working for the people. These good police, Lord, they keeping the peace. But you got wicked police, disturbing the peace, working for the peace. Them hearts so cold, they must drop out of body hole. Them hearts so cold, they must drop out of body hole. Them hearts so cold, them drop out of body hole. Lord, we live in a police state. Lord, we live in a police state. Lord, we live in a police state. We gotta fix this here police state. They murder Giallo, walk away scot-free. They murder Doris, man, I saw them a do it. Good police sit there in their silence. These good police, Lord, they serving the beast. And you got wicked police, disturbing the peace, working for the peace. Them hearts so cold, they must drop out a body hole. Them hearts so cold, they must drop out a body hole. Them hearts so cold, them drop out a body hole. Lord, we live in a police state. Lord, we live in a police state. Lord, we live in a police state. We gotta fix this here police state. A good police is a hero every day. Good police keep nastiness at bay, and they were good police working for the people. Good police, Lord, they keeping the peace. But you got wicked police disturbing the peace, working for the peace. Them hearts so cold, they must drop out a body hole. Them hearts so cold, they must drop out a body hole. Them hearts so cold, them drop out a body hole. Lord, we live in.
Are you a singer, a musician, or a producer? Are you looking to record a demo, a song, or an entire album? This is Angela Harden, General Manager of WHCR 90.3 FM, and I'm excited to tell you that you no longer have to travel all the way downtown to record your project. WHCR offers a state-of-the-art recording studio with an experienced engineer. Our studio is affordably priced and conveniently located in the heart of Harlem, right here on the campus of City College. For rates and information, please call 212-650-7147. That's 212-650-7147. Harlem has its own radio station and its own recording studio. Are you a singer?
The World Evangelical Deliverance Church Incorporated presents the 53rd anniversary of Reverend Dr. Ruth Singletary on Saturday, November the 10th, 2012. Doors open at 2. Program starts at 3 at the New Covenant Temple of United Holy Church of America, 1805 Amsterdam Avenue, a corner of 149th Street in New York City. From Mississippi, it will be the Jackson Southerners. From Mississippi, the 5 Blind Boys. The Timothy Wright Memorial Choir.
Whatever the time, Lord, we will take care of it.
The Gospel Slide Minister, Brother Derek Smith. The legendary Roscoe Robinson, former of the Blind Boys of Mississippi and Alabama. Little Sammy and the Mighty Flying Clouds. Deacon Williams and the Soul Converters. The People's Brothers. Eddie and the Joy Wonders. The Sunset Jubilees. The Fantastic Soulinaires. Brother Lenny Stewart Jr. Your MC, Sister Liz Black, Sister Virginia Cotton, and Dalton Anderson. Is all happening on Saturday, November the 10th at the New Covenant Temple of United Holy Church of America, 1805 Amsterdam Avenue, a corner of 149th Street in New York. No tickets at the door. No tickets at the door. For information, you can call 347-346-8365. That's 347-346-8365. Dr. Ruth Singletary's 53rd anniversary featuring the Jackson Southerners. Saturday, November the 10th. Saturday, November the 10th. For more information, 347-346-8365. This is Dalton Anderson. I'll see you there.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. This is Keziah Glow and Haja Worley.
Yes, right here.
And we are talking over the underwriting, talking over the fundraising. You know, Haja, maybe
Just
my
running
mind.
our mouths.
Yeah, running our mouths. Our mouths. Maybe my mind is someplace else. Maybe I'm thinking about that trip.
But it's all in the family. It's all real. This is real live radio.
Real live radio. This is what happens. And we want to give you the number, which is 212-650-6903. You know, at the end of the show, we don't mind you calling in and letting us know what you think or how you feeling or what's going on in your life.
Or make some suggestions of what you would like to hear.
Right.
As long as it involves Harlem 411.
There you go. Or send us some money.
There you go.
There you go.
Like
we like that.
We need that. And we are non-commercial radio, which means Keziah, with her lovely voice and everything, her lovely persona. I mean, Keziah does not get paid for this. She does this because she loves this. and I do this because I'm just happy to be here.
And Hodja wants everybody to hear his Barry White voice on the air. Now, we have a guest that is patiently waiting on the line. And, you might hear this background noise and, during the interview. I like to have guests who are out in the field.
Okay.
Who getting their hands dirty while they're working.
Right.
So, Brother Walter Bell, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, that's great. So, I just want to let everyone know that we have somebody on the line who is right now working out in the field. And, you are the chairman for Public Safety and Quality of Life for Community Board 7. Yes. And the founder of the organization called Black Light. Yes. And you can tell us a little bit more about your bio and where you're at right now, because of course, the audience hears this noise in the background and they're like, well, why don't that brother go to a quiet place? Why he got to do the interview from the loud space like that? But let us know what you're doing.
Well, for one, I want to just say thank you. I appreciate, being even on your radio station, being able to be heard. Ain't nothing like having something raw, having it live. It's not phony. This ain't pre-prepared and, just superficial. This is raw. I'm over here right now. I'm at the St. James Recreational Center. We're doing a free fish fry Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. every Friday. I'm in here doing a free fish fry Friday. As you know, right now, the Bronx is the most unhealthiest place to live in the county. The most unhealthiest place to live. We are the highest in HIV, asthma, diabetes, hypertension. We're the highest. So it's incumbent that, we remove a lot of the food that's not good for us from our diet. So the Women's Empowerment Self-Defense Academy, they came up with an idea to help the membership drive here at the St. James Recreational Center. This is beneficial in so many ways because a lot of our community centers are closing due to budget cuts and lack of funding. So the very few community centers that we got open, we need to do things and work with our own ability to be creative to keep them open. So Wester came up with a free fish fry. They're eating healthy, and whatever donations or proceeds we get, we buy free memberships for the people in the community so that they could join the community center. So I'm in full support of that.
That's awesome.
Definitely. I was so motivated that I even went ahead and obtained, as of Friday, last week, my food handler certification with the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What is entailed in that? Why is that good to have?
Well, not only you learn about the law of dietetics, which, if you know anything about anybody's culture or history, I heard the gentleman talking on the phone. I was eavesdropping. I hope y'all won't be mad at me.
Of course.
He spoke about your charitable heart, Miss Keziah. And I just want to compliment that by saying, in Islam or in the faith of Islam, zakat is called charity. And right now, the Muslims are recognizing the Eid, which is like a holiday that they recognize the good faith of people. So you're right on time with what you were talking about being good-hearted, giving back, being a good Samaritan, and being charitable. So these are all the things that fall in line with, not only people saying good things, but like you said, who's out in the field doing the work. So this is why I'm glad that you called me today, so that things like this could be announced, because if it was somebody out here shooting or doing some other nonsense, it would be televised all over the place. I mean, the airwaves are flooded with the police officer that got shot. It's flooded with the nanny. It's flooded with on and on and on of killing and senseless crimes. And we wouldn't even get a microscopic dot of anything positive that we got going on out here. And I've been out here for 4 weeks, going hard, feeding these young people. So that's the noise that you hear in the back. Oh, these people, they're hungry.
Right.
They're in here getting education. They're in here getting physical fitness, physical therapy, and at the same time, now we've added a nice, wholesome, healthy meal to their diet.
How large is the population? This is Hodja Worley. How large is the population that you deal with who come to the center and participate in this work that you're doing?
Well, I'm just here on Fridays, and already I would say, a mixture from ages at least 4 and 5, all the way to adult, maybe 200 to 300 frequently. I think I've served around 40 people already. As we speak right now, we may have collected $30 to $40 in donations. And though that may seem like really something insignificant or nothing much, if we could get one young lady or one young man to get off the street and come in here and become a member of this community center, that's one that we've helped change.
Great.
So that's how we look at it. And if you be consistent and you do it every week, now you're really going to be speaking numbers. So you know, it's a very long but sure process,
right?
As opposed to an immediate fix.
And one of the things I think that you mentioned, and you know, breaking bread is one of the most basic things that you can offer. You know, in terms of breaking bread and bringing somebody to where you are. You know, it opens up the conversation, definitely.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
You're welcome.
You know, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to touch on one of the things I do also. You know, I'm the chairman for Public Safety and Quality of Life, which, you know, healthy eating and healthy living all falls in part of quality of life. But we really need to leave all of the guns alone. If there's anybody out there, I just want to speak real quick to that, because they don't solve anything. You don't need a gun. You know, you got a brain that is so powerful that it makes a gun so useless. And if we would use that mindset that we got, that awesome brain that we were given, you realize that the steel is not useful. If you go through any of our history of any of the periodic table of elements that we've been known to use, metal or steel is the poorest tool we've ever used in the annals of history. The pyramids were not made with steel. Anything that deals with the great science and architecture in the building of anything, steel was never used. So we don't need that to change the way that we are toward one another. So I just wanted to put that out there.
That's interesting, because a lot of the change happens on the etheric level, and it doesn't even happen in the physical level sometimes. The change happens in your mind. It happens in your in that place where you actually can't touch, and that's the most powerful place. And that's why people really want to have a hold of the young people's minds, because once they control their minds, then they can control every other physical element of their life.
Got it.
One thing I wanted to move into was the black light. You mentioned
yes.
You mentioned the fact that when you're doing something positive, people are they're not always paying attention to that. We're not giving shout outs to things that are positive. We're always talking about the negative. Tell us about the Black Light Foundation, why you started that and what that is.
Right. Well, Black Light, as I said, you know, that came from a concept. One of my best friends, his name is Gary Dordan. When CSI first came out, the TV show that is, you know, he's one of the actors on there. And I was always, you know, inspired by him when I was young to want to do something. I mean, he was the first African-American supermodel. He came out with Janet Jackson when she made that nice love song. And then he just continued to stay grinding, you know, and keep himself in a positive light. And in another direction, I went ahead and did the same thing. So I took the concept of Black Light from, you know, the way that he would conduct himself when he was doing investigations and, you know, just that whole concept. So I went ahead and noticed that they had a lot of grants coming into the community. They weren't much money at all, but they were quite meaningful. And one of them was from the Citizens Committee for Change. They came up with like a grant, like $500 to $1,000 to do some simple community cleanup projects. And I applied for it and I won. And, you know, we came up with just cleaning up one of the dirtiest, most unsanitary blocks in the Bronx, which is 183rd Street and Bassford Avenue. I mean, it was dog poop. You couldn't even walk down the block. The children, when they used to get out of school for a fire drill, used to have to walk in the street because they couldn't walk on the sidewalk. That's how much dog poop was there. And if you know anything about quality of life, that definitely depreciates the value of any community.
Oh, definitely.
Along with it having 4 or 5 abandoned buildings on that block, along with it having vacant lots, along with it having graffiti on the wall, along with, on and on and on. So we came in and we said, you know what, we're going to clean this up. So we had got with Department of Parks and Recreation, Department of Sanitation, community people, and we just start gutting it out, cleaning it, painting walls, removing the graffiti. We just start going real hard to show cleanliness is not next to godliness. Cleanliness is godliness. And that community, thank God, that it has transformed a great deal from where it was once at. And those children that now, they can walk on the sidewalk, and they feel good about going to school because they don't have to walk through a maze of feces.
Wow. What street was that on in the Bronx again?
On Bassford Avenue, between 183rd and 182nd Street, on Bassford. And we also put up the periodic table of elements on the wall for the whole community to see. Anybody could drive by and see the periodic table of elements, all 114, painted on the wall in systematic sequence order. Beautiful, highly intelligent move was made right there.
Wow, this is great. Well, Haji, you were going to say something?
No.
Okay.
I would like to send you some pictures if possible. I can, I have them, I can forward you the pictures of the wall.
Yeah, what we want to do is, and at some other time, we are on different networks. Maybe we can get a camera to come out and take some video and see that, and let our audience see what's going on out on the street when we are in the field. Now, I know you got to get back to working with the people. If anyone wants to come out and see what's going on or get some free fish.
Yes.
Because I'm about to go there after I'm done here.
Please come through. I got something high ready for you. Please, yes. I'll be here.
Go ahead. Where can we come to, and where can we get in touch with your organization?
The St. James it's regular Parks and Recreation Community Center. It's with the Parks Department. It's located inside the St. James Park.
Okay.
It's located inside the St. James Park, and you could just come on in. So between 191st and 192nd Street on Jerome Avenue, which is the 4th train line. You could take that right to Fordham Road and get off and walk right up the block. Come into the park. We're right here. The weather's nice for the moment, and I'm also speaking on what to do in case of an emergency, natural or not. That there's a storm headed our way, and a lot of people don't even know where the bunkers are in the Bronx in case there's an emergency. They're actually walking distance from this recreational center, underground at Lehman College. That's where our bunkers are. So that's one of the things that I was speaking on tonight at my committee meeting. I was speaking on the cop that got shot in the chest the other day. He's from the Bronx, and that happened not far from here.
Right.
He was made detective today. We were speaking on the elders in our community, doing something for the seniors, and how we want to do like a meet and greet the Honorable Charles Rangel, the congressman, who, due to rezoning and redistricting, is now the senator or congressman for a part of the Bronx, which is this part, District 7, and a part of Harlem.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yes. He covers 2 territories now. Due to rezoning and redistricting, the area was broke up. He's not only over Harlem now. He's over a part of the Bronx. And a part of the Bronx that he's currently residing over is District 7, where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Well,
the Fordham Road area, Kingsbridge, Bedford Park, Mashulu.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Haji, you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, brother, where do you get your fish from? Is it donated, or you buy it out of pocket, or how do you put this on?
Right. Well, when we first started, I went right in my pocket and got a collection from some good brothers that I know. And if you know 5 or 10 people, I'm honest. Actually, it was only around $35. If you get it filleted, you go to any fish market, you get it filleted. You get a lot of fish for around $35. Okay, so that's really not much money at all. Right. And I covered that tab for the first few weeks right out of my own pocket because I wanted to get to initiate the program and get it going.
Sure.
Then Wester comes along and says, hey, look, we're a non-for-profit 501c3. Okay, you can use our nonprofit and go to places and get donations. And that's what we're doing right now. We're going to the Hunts Point Fulton Market to see what they can donate. We're going to maybe City Harvest and see what they could donate. We're going to different organizations that's willing to donate so that we can have fresh fish and maybe some nice side orders or side dishes to go with it.
Great.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we want to let you know that whenever you do an interview, this is a short one, but would like for you to come in the studio and have a more in-depth conversation. Give us your contact information, or if anybody wants to, find out more, or they're just interested in starting their own organization, they want to speak to you, put that information out there so our listeners can find you.
For sure. That's my first name is Walter. My last name is Bell, B-E-L-L. My email is WLTBELL2@AOL.com. And I will respond promptly to emails. I get it to my BlackBerry. You can contact Community Board 7 and in the Bronx. And I don't have the information readily in front of me, so I can't tell it to you. But Community Board 7 in the Bronx, that's 204th Street, right off the concourse. And ask for the chairman for public safety and quality of life, Mr. Bell, and I'll get all my information responded to me from there. I also work at St. Barnabas Hospital. I'm a certified criminal justice specialist. I also have my CASE Act. I'm a credentialed alcohol and substance abuse counselor. I work in addiction medicine there. I also work at Bronx Lebanon Hospital in the Department of Psychiatry in the halfway house. I'm just really entrenched and all over the place. So
we see that. Yeah, we would like for you to come back and have that addiction conversation, because that's huge in our community. So, when you come back in the studio, we can get into that. And, a lot of us and our families and ourselves, the brothers on before us from, they have an organization. So, you definitely need to.
Brothers in Recovery.
Yes, Brothers in Recovery. Thank you, Haja. Another perspective. Because I was just fumbling and I was going to slide over that, but you saved me. Walter Hodges always over here saving me because I can't remember anything. But I want to thank you so much for calling in, and I'm going to stop by in a second because I'm getting my free fish too.
Yes, I just want to recognize the young lady who made this possible right now, which is yourself with the IiBN on the radio. I appreciate you, Miss Keziah. I love you very much and dearly.
Thank you.
Send my peace and blessings to you and your family. I want to recognize a young lady. Her name is Miss Kenley. She's the director of the St. James Recreation Center, and she's the one who came up with the membership drive idea, and then we just came with the fish, and then it was like a holy matrimony from there. So I want to recognize her for allowing me to come in here and be a servant to the community.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you, ladies.
You're very welcome. All right. So until next time. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Peace.
Thank you, sir. Nice meeting you. Peace
Nice
and blessings.
meeting you, brother.
All right. See, Hodges, somebody loves me.
Well, that's good. I'm glad because you hard to love.
Oh my God, that's so messed up. Oh, that's good. I'm glad somebody knew.
Let me stop.
Oh, that's so
we
funny.
all love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too, and I love everybody too. All right, we're gonna take a short break, and we will be right back.
Thank you.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
All right, welcome back, Harlem, and we are still on it. So we're on our Friday night fun run through. I just made that up.
That's
and
good.
we got a guest, a return guest. We only got a little bit of time with him, so we just going to introduce him. I see her.
Peace.
Peace, what's up? You in the building?
Good.
Okay, you're not really in the building. You on the phone.
All right.
Okay.
Is that the Duke of Tears?
Is this the Duke of Tears?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. I'm good. How you doing?
That's wonderful, wonderful.
Yes. Where's Amore at? Is he there too?
Oh, he is, but he's Ninja Turtling, so I got like 5 minutes by myself.
Okay, that's what's up. And then tell Selena we said what's up. All right, so we got a full moon on Monday, and you put out this information about watching television and a lot of the information that comes into our that when we're watching things. So you can definitely go into that and take it from there.
Well, yeah, one of the best things about it, whenever there's a full moon, it's a coming together, a culmination of energy. You know?
Right.
And in the process of that energy coming down, it's almost like when you fill a balloon full of water. It gets to a point where you can only hold but so much before it bursts open. You know.
Right.
So it's the same thing with this full moon. This is one of the last full moons before December 21st.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I feel you on that, because if you go outside right now, the energy is heightening, and we're in New York, or I don't know if it's happening down there, if you're having a storm also, but there's this big storm that's coming, and on the way in, I literally just saw this guy punch this other guy in the face on the street, and it was just weird, and people's energy is just so crazy right now. It looks like it's heightening. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what happens, because a lot of times you'll have people that are infested with different ideas but don't realize that the ideas that they're infested with are not ideas at all. They're actually thought forms that are actually almost living in their mind, and so they start to activate on that, thinking that they think in their own thought, and really that thought is actually an entity itself. And this is the time when a lot of that basically, okay. That's when a lot of that stuff becomes more prevalent. So around the time of what we call All Hallows Eve, you start to have what you call a gateway. But the thing about it is that this so-called holiday is that much people want it to be satanic. It's not really satanic at all. It really don't have nothing to do with that. It became satanic once we started letting the pioneers and Puritans and the homesteaders and these people do it. But annually, over here, we had our ancient ancestors prior to 1791. We had a holiday or a festival. Actually, it was a group called the Kituwa Society, and this was the original society. This is where you get the term lodge from. People don't know that the term lodge, like in Masonic lodge or lodging, is actually an American word that was taken over to Europe when they started to emulate how we did our stuff over here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because remember, in the old world, they call those things temples, right? And synagogues and stuff like that. So because the Kituwa Society, which is the oldest lodge for totemic masonry of our people over here from time immemorial, is that they had a festival where we would dress up around the time of what they call the Great Crossing, when the signs were open enough where the gateway, or they believed that the gateway between this world and the spirit realm would be open. So to encourage the spirits to be able to be corporeal again, they would have a festival in which they would travel and bring gifts for them. And in the process of those gifts that were being given, everybody would wear masks, because another aspect of the Kituwa Society was the false face society. And in that's when we would dress up in a wooden mask and everything that were supposed to imbue the energy with spirits, so that way we could commune and they could give their messages. Well, it wasn't until the Europeans came over here, the European Moors came over here with their Caucasian serfs, who then start to witness this whole event. And so, because they didn't understand it, when their people started doing it, they thought it was satanic. Because remember, everything them people did was they was under the pain of death and hell. So anything that was seen as a wrong thing was seen as something that was going to damn you to hell. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them, because they was dealing with Satanism anyway, they wanted to take an aspect of that and turn it into something that they could use to incorporate and bring disembodied spirits of maybe a negative connotation into this realm. So between 1791 and 1865, you get the rise of what we call Halloween, in which you start to have all of these satanic ritual abuses coming through with it, because now you have these satanic Europeans, or I should say these satanic Caucasians from Europe, who are now imbuing it all with human sacrifice and blood ritual of sacrificing children. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Now, and that's interesting to touch on, because we are moving into Halloween, and just kind of getting, knowing that a lot of this are Aboriginal, indigenous peoples. These are our rituals that somehow have been altered. But, so when you see it, you know that it's yours. You know that this is this is initially your thing, and you don't have to hate it. You don't have to hate any of this stuff. You don't have to hate the ground that you stand on.
All of these holidays that exist in America are holidays that were our holidays from time immemorial. If you really do the knowledge. Even Christmas.
Right.
Even Independence Day. All of that stuff is ours. These were holidays that these people adopted after we allowed them to set foot in our country and our government. We
don't have a lot of time, but you're saying even Christmas. Which one? Where did that come from?
Even that was a holiday basically to commemorate. Again, most of these holidays were basically there to commemorate the passing of the season. You know what I'm saying? So Christmas itself was basically the lowest point in which Sirius went down. Well, let me not say that. December 21st, 25th, traditionally was the birth date of Apollo, which is Horus, right? But in that, we know that Heru and Horus and Apollo and Yehoshua are basically all remnants of the same energy. So when they was doing it over here, Christmas, though, it switched after 1791, after the cherry tree on our flag was cut down. And then symbolically, the tree was now used as a thing to put the bounty of what the conquerors' generation would get at the foot of the tree. Because the wild Germanians now, when we used to lock them up in Europe and they used to do their things, they used to have a ceremony where they would go and they would cut off people's heads and put them at the bottom of the tree. This aspect of the holiday, right, that's not necessarily what we was doing, but after they came over here and they started implying a lot of that brutality and stuff over here with the people, this is how it's, they converted it into what it is now, where symbolically you have to cut down an evergreen, right, which is the same tree that's on the continental flag of the United States, and then prop that up and then put the presents around. You know what I mean? Presents symbolics of all the heads that you take it, or that was supposed to be taken in terms of European. But in that, the whole Santa Claus and all of that, like in Christmas, like I said, Santa Claus or Santa Claus, he's not even a real dude. The real dude in Europe and all the European nations is Little Peter. He's the one who look over all the bad children, who happens to be the Moorish. He's like Batman and Santa Claus is Robin, but he's the one everybody wants. They don't want Santa Claus because he only look out for the good kids. So Peter the Negro, Peter the Negro, or Little Peter, he's the one who brings Christmas presents to everybody, you see, which represents, again, the Moors, bringing presents, knowledge, gifts, bounty to the whole planet. You see what I'm saying? Those who are naughty and nice.
Asir? Yes, just want to add to it. My wife filled me in on this. In the Dutch, they had something they call Zwarte Piet.
That's right.
Black Pete.
Little Peter, same person. Zwarte Piet, same one. Yep, same dude. Also, and let's do the knowledge that Peter, but this whole character was based on a real historical character, person named Peter the Negro. He is the dude who brought Cristobal Colon and them over here on the boat. But to make sure they wouldn't come to the mainland where most of us was really at, he made sure that he stopped in in the Caribbean, specifically on Hispaniola. So if you really do the knowledge, the story of Peter the Negro, or Little Peter, or Schwartzy Pete, basically, was basically the story, again, of the gift of the New World being given to the rest of the world. You see what I'm saying? In terms of coming over, bearing the real knowledge as to what was really going on over here to people who didn't know, you know? So symbolic. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so symbolically in that, you know what I mean? Everything that we think that we celebrate and that comes from somebody else has actually started and began with us. But we have sorely forgotten how to put a lot of this stuff back together because we tend to involve ourselves in areas of understanding that really had nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? So what we tend to do is basically rebel and then just dump it all on a white man, saying that, okay, well, this is some white shit, so I'm not even going to involve with it. But really,
we can't curse.
It's white to keep you from it.
You know what? We can't
Turn
curse.
you off.
We can't
I'm
curse.
sorry.
Yeah. But wait, you know what? See, we're running out of time, and you always have so much good information, and the information that you do your research on, we have to do research on it too. You know, so like when you say certain things, it's like I gotta pull it apart because not everybody is doing as much research as you are. So now the thing that I wanted to go back on was the energies. Sometimes you're thinking thoughts are your own thoughts, and you know how that works. And so you know, thoughts come to live in your brain, and sometimes people can, or not people, but entities can get into your head, and you think these are thoughts, but they're not.
And that's really what it is. People don't realize. See, when SETI, right, which represents the Standard Extraterrestrial Telecommunication Institute or whatever, when they was promoting and pumping out like sound waves and radio waves that had like the history of what they perceived as history of America and pump it out there into the universe so that way aliens could contact them or whatever. Right? You heard about stories like that, right? So when they were doing all of that, they were doing all that for a long time. They wasn't receiving nothing back, right? As soon as they recalibrated their instruments and started basically attuning it to subatomic or hyperspace frequencies, they start getting messages left and right. Because the entities and stuff that they're dealing with or were dealing with, you got to remember, everything that we see in front of us is a three-dimensional version of some sort of two-dimensional to fifth-dimensional information. So everything that we're existing right here now is basically downgraded into that. Same way you think a thought before you say it is the same way that everything that we're doing out here basically is projecting ourselves here. Because this third density is an imperfect form of existence. But in that, it's a physical existence, solid, which means that certain high-frequency entities and things like that cannot exist here. Because once they incarnate that baby brain grow in them, and they could be a star conqueror or a world galactic conqueror or whatever, but as soon as that baby brain come in, it's a wrap. They done forgot everything. They got to go through the same thing everybody else do down here, from a puppy to a human.
Right.
You got to grow up, figure out what you want to do. So it's the same thing with these thoughts. So they realize that they can't incarnate down here how they want. So what they do is they project intent, project energy in the form of what we would perceive as an idea. That idea is now picked up by individuals or people through media, which again is where these entities are projected from through these high area borealis satellites and stuff like that. Downgrading these informations, putting it out into the TV. You watch it. You like, wow, that could be true. You now accept the idea, but couched within that idea is a two-dimensional or fifth-dimensional parasite that is actually now functioning from a perspective of thinking your thoughts on it by matching your algorithm